Hey guys, it's Dennis here with Revog Games, and I'm joined by
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa.
yes, and this is our weekly games podcast, and we're talking about the latest in gaming news, releases, rumors, speculation, all that good stuff. So yeah, February has turned out to be a pretty big month for games. We're going to talk about Horizon Forbidden West in a second here. That's coming out tomorrow. We have Elden Ring coming out next week. We
Yeah.
already had what else came out this past month? Why am I
Uh,
blanking
d-
on?
did you mention Dying Light?
Oh yeah, Dying Light 2. That's
Dying Light
that's
2 came out.
yeah. So a lot of big stuff. All right. Let's start off with it. Horizon Forbidden West. I have not played the original, but I know that it's much beloved. People are hyped for this new one, and the reviews so far that I've seen have all been very, very like highly praised. Not just like, hey, it's good, guys. It's like, oh, this is excellent, like top tier type of game. You played the original, right?
Yeah, I love the original. It was crazy because, like most people, I picked up the original not knowing much about the game.
Mm-hmm.
I actually only got it because a GameStop employee recommended it because I didn't know what to. I was trading in a bunch of games and I didn't know what to get. And he was like, "I recommend this."
Mm-hmm.
Explained it to me, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, it seems interesting. If I don't like it, I can just return it." And I fell in love with the game. The story is really good. It's captivating. The voice acting's captivating. Captivating. The game mechanics are interesting because you're playing with like elemental stuff, and then like I'd say about like halfway through the game, it really is all about like strategic planning ahead before you do your hunts and stuff. It's a really good game and it's really fun. I'm hopefully next weekend going to be playing this game. I don't have a PS5, but me and a buddy made a deal where if I buy the game, he will like let me use his PS5 for a day or two. So I'll have to like grind it in a weekend and finish the game
Wow.
in a weekend, but it's going to be worth it for the like I'm hooked to the story. The gameplay mechanics are great. We're just going to be taking turns playing the game essentially. But the story is the thing that hooked me in the first place. And it's interesting because when this game came out, it sold well, but it wasn't like spoken of, like highly spoken of. It wasn't until like a year later,
Mm-hmm.
or especially with the PC release as well, that people really started talking about this game. Or even before they announced the sequel. Like before they announced the sequel, not that many people knew about. Like a lot of people knew about it, but in the grand scheme of things, like compared to other AAA titles,
Yeah, it does. It's
it
not.
wasn't really that spoken of.
It doesn't have the name recognition that Last of Us or Uncharted has.
I
Um,
mean, the studio, if I recall, the game they worked on before this, or like one of the last games that they released before this game, was Killzone, I think,
mm-hmm.
for like the old like PlayStation 3 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So there's like a 10-year period where the studio didn't release any games or anything, and then they just came out with Horizon Zero Dawn out of nowhere, and it's very different from like their old like shooter games, because you're using a bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I heard about this game because, like I mentioned in previous podcasts, I got the PS4 towards the end of the PS4 cycle, which it's still going on, obviously, but towards the later half,
Yeah.
so that I could play the best PlayStation games that were exclusive, right? So obviously, I got Uncharted, I got Last of Us. Um, Ghost of Tsushima had just come out maybe a few months after I think I had gotten my PS4 or something like that, and so obviously that's one of them. And this was one that people had recommended, even though honestly, just looking at the artwork and whatnot, it didn't really appeal to me, because it was like these mechanical dinosaurs. I was like, oh, maybe this looks kind of maybe it's generic or something. But then reading all the reviews and people praising it, saying what a great story it is, what great gameplay. So I did buy it. I just never got around to playing it because I've been trying to catch up on the whole, PlayStation exclusive
Let me give you like a
library.
spoiler-free setting then,
Okay.
essentially. Well, it's one of the main spoilers in the first game, but it kind of gets spoiled within, I think, the prologue. I could be
Okay.
wrong, but the point is, obviously, you're in the distant future.
Yeah.
You're so far off in the future that mankind has essentially reset itself and gone to like the caveman era.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even though you're using these like Aloy, the main character is using these like really cool cybernetic things, most of humanity is like living like tribesmen. You know what I mean? They don't have like fancy like they've sworn off technology kind of thing. You know what I mean? So the entire story is you unraveling what the hell happened to humanity. Like
Mm.
why, like why are we like this? And then why are there freaking robots all over the world? Robot like life forms and stuff. And without getting too much into the story and spoiling that, you kind of uncover the past, and you get like glimpses into the past of like what happened like right before shit hit the fan for like
Mm-hmm.
like things to happen this way for humanity. Without dancing around it too much. But it's really really cool the way that they incorporate the past and show you what happened, and then also just the areas because I think well now we're moving to like California. I forget where the first game was set, but it was set in like man that's gonna kill me the fact that I can't think about where the first game was set. But it's cool because each game that like well, there's only two so far,
Mm-hmm.
but each game is essentially, I'm assuming, going to have its own location where they move
Mm-hmm.
towards to uncover more of the past and more of the mystery as to what's happened. Yeah, the gameplay mechanics are great though. That's what's got me to replay the game a bunch. Is that the game itself is fun. You take the story. Like the thing is with a lot of these games, these narrative games, you take the story away and the game's okay. You take the story away from this game and the game's still really fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
really fun. There could be zero story and I would just be out there hunting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Monster Hunter. The story behind Monster Hunter is lackluster at best, but you're there for the hunts and like getting involved in hunting. So it's a good game. I'm really excited to see what they've got in store for the second game, or like a couple of like the mechanics that they've changed. There's underwater levels now by the looks of things and
Mm-hmm.
underwater creatures. So I'm excited to see some of the changes there.
Yeah, the reviews have basically been comparing it. Not that the game itself is like Mass Effect, but they're saying the jump in quality is much like from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2, where Mass Effect 1 was great, but Mass Effect 2 just took all the things that were great in Mass Effect 2, or the first one, and made them better, and then the things that weren't
Yeah.
so great, they fixed those. So they're saying that's what Horizon Forbidden West is. It takes the things that maybe weren't the greatest and minimized them, and the things that were great expanded on them. So it's not like a huge like
Yeah.
overhaul where you're not getting what you're expecting, but it's just such a polished, much more polished version of it. And yeah, people.
They up the world a lot
Hmm.
more in this. The first game had great like character models, like textures, like like I remember being really impressed with the texture of skin in that game when I first
Hmm.
played it. Like the year it came out, I was really like kind of like pretty much like mind blown at the skin textures in the game and how well it was performing on the PS4, you know? It
Hmm.
wasn't like a super high like high end render that you would expect, but it was at the time it was better than like considering it was an open world as well. It was better than anything I'd seen.
Hmm.
So that was good. I'd say that the first game you don't really notice it too much because of the way that the art style works, is it works out quite well. But they really upped the graphics in terms of the world. You know what I mean? Like the water, the trees, the grass, like the greenery. It's
Hmm.
so much more realistic. And then the hair, like the hair looks a lot more real too. And this they up like you said, they up the things that were good already, so the skin textures look insane again. Like this is one of those things where I can't wait for this game to come out on PC, but I also can't wait for a good graphics card to fall out of the sky and land in my lap, you know? Just so I could run this like game at the way it's supposed to.
Well, that's the thing is
Um,
it is available on PS4. Actually,
yeah,
they're actually recommending people buy it on the PS4 because it comes with a free PS5 version, but yet the PS4
yeah.
version is cheaper. So the PS4 version is $60. The PS5
So
version is $70. But if you buy the PS4 version, you get a free upgrade to the PS5 version. So people are like, why don't you just
so
buy the
you
PS4
save
version?
$10. Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
that makes
the
sense.
the reason I posted on Twitter and you kind of gave me the same answer was, should I play for Horizon Forbidden West even if I haven't played it Zero Dawn? People are like, no, you can't. You gotta you know experience the story and everything, and you'll be lost and confused. Just because I just got a review copy for Horizon Forbidden West, which is only a day or two before it releases. So
Nice.
but the thing is because I haven't played the first one, like I'm not going to be hopping on that immediately. I guess I need to play the first one first. I had to
I
say,
would say you don't have to play the first one, but you have to like watch a recap video,
yeah, I'd
like
rather
or
just
at least
play it
watch some
though.
cutscenes.
I just want to
Yeah, the
experience
game is
it.
fun.
Yeah.
It because it's an open world though, I can see you kind of getting like lost in the game, doing a lot of like the side quests, which is good fun. Like there's a lot of good gear in the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
I got myself like upset. I'm one of those guys. I'm a huge gear junkie. Where if any kind of open world RPG game has good loot and good gear, I'm hooked to that game because I like to look cool and level up and like it just feels like that shows your level progression more than anything is like the getting cooler and cooler gear, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
this game had exactly that. You just kept getting cooler gear. Well, also, you'd have to like change your gear all the time depending on where you are. You know what I mean? Like dress warmly for like the colder environments, etc. Weather takes a place. Like for elemental resistance and stuff like that. So there's a fair bit of strategy in the game as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really hoping I get to play this game next weekend, as long as my
Cool.
buddy doesn't bail on me.
But you never thought of getting on the PS4 to play it? You only want that
I don't.
PS5 experience?
I mean, like I might. If the game ever goes on sale, it's just like I would rather wait and like get
Yeah.
that like next gen experience. I really would, especially because I know my buddy has a PS5. You know, he lives 5 minutes from my house. I can buy the game, even though I can't
Uh,
really take my time with it. I don't know, man. The thing is, I know it's still gonna look great on the PS4. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not gonna. It's just gonna look better
Yeah.
on the PS5 or on a PC in
That's
2 3 years
why
from
that's
now.
why I'm predicting that these the PC release dates are going to start getting closer and closer and eventually be
God, I hope
day
so,
day
man.
and date. They have to compete. You just can't.
Especially with a game like this where the story is so integral to the hype. Like I feel like they would sell more if there was a PC released day one, same as console. They would sell a lot more rather than six
Yeah,
months later or a year later because
exactly.
they've watched all the cutscenes. And a big part about this game is like the story and getting the rewards. You know?
Yeah, and the hype is, will be lesser, right? Obviously,
Exactly. Yeah.
there was a lot of hype over the first one coming to the PC. God of War came to PC just a month ago. And sure, they sold a lot, but I bet you they would have sold a lot more if it was on, day one. Because there are people,
Mm.
that, that maybe have a PC that don't have a PS4. Or maybe they don't have an Xbox or a PS4 and they're just PC only. It's like, in the game, and, and putting the game just on a PlayStation exclusive is not going to, change their mind into like getting
Yeah.
a console. So you might as well just put it out. Anyways, that's I
Look,
think.
the game's gonna sell well. It's got great reviews. The game's gonna sell well,
Oh
but
yeah,
they obviously would have sold way more for. And look, and it's also gonna sell well when the PC version comes out because when the PC version does come out, just based off of what we're seeing on the PS5 version, it's gonna be super optimized and
hmm
have like a bunch of or at least if they do it right, because that's the reason why God of War was so successful on its PC launch, is because it was like perfectly optimized for PC. You know, it wasn't just a really bad port, which is what we used to have back in the day. It was really bad ports of games that would come to PC. Like a lot of the older Final Fantasy games were like that.
yeah. Um, yeah. So this is one of those really good Sony exclusive games that definitely kind of keep PlayStation where it's at, which is still the number one console for the
Yeah,
moment. So
I think it's because Sony's still, even with all this
Game
oh my
Pass,
gosh,
Game
Game
stuff.
Pass stuff happening. Wow. Even with all this, like all the acquisitions and stuff, I'd say like in the consumer's point of view, Sony still has like PlayStation's still a bigger like brand or name brand or has more recognition because they did so well with the PS4, like in that generation. I feel like most households just like think of it fondly. You know what I mean? Like they don't
hmm
really know the implications of Game Pass and the acquisitions just yet. Like the majority of people who are buying PlayStations, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um.
That's just my guess though.
Cool. Anything else about Horizon Forbidden West before we move
No,
on?
I just really hope I get the chance to play it next week. It looks like a really fun game. I knew the reviews are going to be good. Like I had zero doubts in this game
Uh.
being bad at all. Even like I didn't even like I'm sure maybe there's going to be some day one patches or something, but I feel like it's going to have a very smooth launch. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there's going to be bugs. I don't think there's going to be like a like 2 gig update on the day it comes out, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they did right with this game,
Yeah.
and
All
it's
right.
just if
That
any of
means
you
that means
if you had to play it.
I just I gotta go play the first one. I want to. It's just right now I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, the DLC, the Iki Island.
Oh
The
yeah, nice.
so
I
did you
forgot
play
about that. I
that?
haven't had the chance.
Oh, you haven't
No,
played
I
it?
actually didn't
Yeah.
get the chance. I didn't
Yeah,
get the DLC.
it was on sale, or I think it's on sale this month, or something like that for PS Plus or whatever. It's $14.99 instead
Yeah,
of $19.99. I don't know how much it is in South Africa.
I gotta get. Well, it's my I got my Sony account's an American account, so it'll be dollars. I get the
Okay.
same store you do.
Okay. The game it's a mini version of the original Ghost of Tsushima. It's like a separate island. It's smaller, obviously, and then you there's like side missions, and then there's the main mission, and they've upgraded a few different things that you can do. There's like this archery challenge. Instead of the bamboo strike, they have these like monkey and cat sanctuary. It's just like it's similar. And the gameplay is very similar. And they just added enhancements to it.
Just like a mini version of the game, like you said.
Yeah. So I'm having fun with
cool.
that. I'm just wondering if I should stop playing that, get on Horizon Zero Dawn, finish that, and then get to
I
Horizon
just
Forbidden
know
West.
it's gonna take you. Like I'd like it, even if you like binge that game and get into it, it's gonna take you a couple days to play that game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like my binging nowadays is like seriously 2 to 3 hours is probably like the top. Like I remember when Fallout 3 came out, dude, I was like a good like 8 hours a day on that. You know what I mean? It was like a job.
Oh yeah.
I was on that, but those days are gone. So my binging of games now is 2-3 hours. So
I'd say just
day.
finish up Ghost of Tsushima. Look, the games aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I think that well, like I would say it would be worth it for you to like play the Horizon Zero Dawn. You don't have to finish it, but at least play like the prologue to get a sense and feeling of the game,
Mhm.
and then you can watch a spoiler video to get like all the story that you need.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Another big thing that came out, Cyberpunk 2077. They finally released
big
the
patch
1.5 that people have been speculating for a long, long time. Now, this isn't like a full DLC, the free DLC that they were promising, where there's going to be like tons of side missions or whatever, but it's improved quite a lot of things. Do you want to talk about the stuff that they've improved?
Yeah, sure. So first thing I did was I updated the game. I played the game,
Which is huge. It's
Started
40 gigs. 40 gigs on the PC.
Yeah,
For a patch.
It is big. It is really big. So I did that, loaded it up, fresh load, fresh game, played it, and I will say that right off the bat, visually it looks about the same, but I was getting a really great visual performance from it already.
Mhm.
But it's so much smoother. I don't know how to explain it.
Hmm.
Frame
rates?
The game runs. Yeah, I'd say it's not the frame rates. It's just things just feel like it feels like the world is working within itself. How do I explain it? Like things aren't like colliding with each other. Like things are just working together, and they're working right on like the right instances. Like there were times where before this patch, you could like load into an area, and things would just like crash into each other, and the physics would freak out. You know what I mean? It just feels like the game's a lot more like that. I've still seen that happen with the new patch.
Mhm.
Like I've seen people, especially with the throwing knives, they need to work on the new because they added throwing knives. The fact that you can now throw your knife. So I've seen like some glitches where people throw their knives and then cars literally like go flying, like literally just go like physics go crazy. But that's something new, so they'll patch that and work on that. You know what I mean? The driving, they've overhauled the driving pretty much.
Mhm.
It took a while for me to get a hang of it because it doesn't drive like a car. It doesn't feel like you're driving a car. It used to feel like you were driving a boat, not a car. That's how it always felt driving the cars. But now it feels like you're almost in like a I don't know, like if you're playing the game the way they want you to, right? Which is I'm using a controller.
Mhm.
So left trigger, right trigger. If you hold down both of the triggers, if you brake and accelerate at the same time, you kind of do a wheel spin, but it also kind of locks you in place. So as you're going around corners, you can literally pull those two triggers as you go around a corner and just like adjust your car and then go forward again.
Mhm.
almost like drifting. You can drift. Like once you get the hang of it, you can actually drift and have a really good time. And like the
Hmm.
skill gets there, but it doesn't feel like the physics of a car. Um, but they did change the way it works. So like the the engines and all that stuff. They changed the cars completely. Huge overall on that. It does feel a lot better on the road. I don't know if it's if it's my computer, but I was getting a slight rubber banding effect, but everything was still crisp. It
Hmm.
was almost like the world was like slowly like
Hmm.
I don't know how to explain it, like lagging in or out. But that was just when I was driving really fast.
Hmm.
I think that could be a graphical issue. I was still having some issues with shaders and screen reflections. But for the most part, like right off the bat, without being able to explore, they've added a lot by the way, but without being able to explore just the way the game feels, it felt really good. The AI made more sense. Like the NPCs walking around you, you weren't seeing like duplicates of people, which was I hated that. Like sometimes you would see like
Hmm.
two or three people of the same like person walk by, and that was just immersion breaking. I'd say there's less NPCs now, but they're just better. I don't know. They're more believable, if that makes sense. Like when you walk past them, they feel a bit more believable too. Um, they changed a couple things where you can now rent apartments,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is cool. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 different apartments, and they're
In
like
the different
different lug
districts, with
yeah, different
different
like luxury
aesthetics.
levels as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you can. I haven't got to the point yet because I literally actually was looking for a cheat. But the patch is so new that there weren't any cheats available. I wanted to get a money cheat just so I could go and look at the DLC. You know what I mean? So I haven't got to that point yet. But once you get about like 10K in your account,
Hmm.
you can. I think you can also change your apartment, like V's actual apartment. Like you can change things around it or adjust things. From what I've been
Yeah.
reading,
Yeah. You gotta
I could be
pay.
wrong about that
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. You can.
But about 10 grand, you can do some adjustments to that.
Yeah.
Um, they changed the skill tree, not much, but like they made some changes to the skill tree, and like for instance, throwing knives that's now in your skill tree. That's like a new skill added
Hmm.
there. Uh, your clothing mods, they had to change some things about how your loadout is, which is why if you open up the game for the first time in a while, it'll tell you all these changes. It'll also tell you, hey, load up your clothing mods again, or your like whatever mods again, because they've been removed because there's like new specifications on how you can use them and stuff. They've extended romances, which I think people are most excited about. Um, however, I could be wrong about this. I think it's only like texting.
Hmm.
Um, but they're also saying that you can like go into their homes and there's extra interactions and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
we're talking Pan Am, Judy, Carrie, and River. Um,
Hmm.
but I believe it's mainly like texts and stuff.
They said you can also reject phone calls now. Uh.
Yeah, you can, which is great because that was the most annoying thing. Like in
Yes.
the game, is you would get phone calls all the time. You'd have to take them, and they would overlap, and audio would get bugged
Yep.
out. So now, most like I want to say 90% of your phone calls. There are some phone calls you can't block, I think, but
Hmm.
90% of them you can block. Like
Yeah.
almost
A
all
lot
of
of
them
them are
you can
just
block.
gigs, right? Like, hey, can you
Yeah.
do this one gig for me? Um.
Um.
Oh, you can change your appearance in the mirrors. Like now, if
Yeah.
you can change
You
whatever
can
your character
you
looks
can drink
like.
coffee, and when you drink coffee, it gives you like an actual in-game boost.
Yeah.
Also, there's like a point to sleeping in the game now. Like you can
Yeah.
actually go to sleep, and when you wake up the next day, you get like an XP boost or a
Hmm.
boost. Yeah, like a skill boost. So you get like you can grind your XP or grind
Hmm.
your stats a bit better. Drinking coffee makes you energized. Your health regens more when you're in your apartment. And yeah, and supposedly they've also added in like more weird interactions throughout the city,
Hmm.
like or just odds and ends. Sorry, got some really bad heartburn right now. Um, but yeah, I haven't gotten far enough into the game to really be able to check those things out. I still I did binge the game though.
Hmm.
Like I got to the point where I'm about to steal the biochip, so and experience everything else.
Oh, so you start
But
from the beginning?
yeah, I started fresh, completely over. Like I wanted to see what it was like from the beginning.
Hmm.
One of the like I don't know if this is always the thing, but in the trailer or like the next gen trailer that they just released,
Yeah.
the song they used is the song that plays in in your car the first time you get into it with
Hmm.
Jackie, which I think is new because I don't think that song was in the game
Hmm.
previously. Or if it was, it definitely didn't like play every like Like the first time you get into a car. Oh, it's your car, but you don't know that yet because of the way the game works. It doesn't
Mm.
tell you that, but yeah, Jackie drives you away and it plays that song. So I'm sure there were other like changes too.
Mm.
And you can like, yeah, interactions are better. So I'd say, yeah, from my point of view, from the graphics aren't really better. They're just optimized more.
Mhm.
But I am getting a completely different experience because I'm now playing it on literally like double or triple the resolution. So because of that, I obviously have to drop the graphic quality a bit, playing on a
Yeah.
much higher resolution.
Yeah.
So I've optimized the game completely different, and it looks good. It feels good. It runs pretty smooth. But I, oddly enough, think I might actually switch to a lower resolution just to get better textures.
Mm.
I don't know if that like makes sense. There's just certain things that don't look too good in the game.
Yeah.
But I think that's just my optimization. But I would say, yeah, there's less bugs. They did it. Like this is what the game should have been. This is what the game should have launched as.
Yeah,
And
with
I'm sure that
the
they're all sitting there.
with
Yeah,
the
I'm
next
sure they're all
gen.
sitting there kicking themselves in the ass for not having done it.
Yeah, if they delayed a year, they would have gotten, a next gen version out at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
plus it be much more stable. So cool. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out as well. I don't know if I'm gonna go as deep as you into it, like restarting, but I'm just gonna try and check out as much new stuff as possible and just see how it
Yeah, I
runs.
mean it should work with your old saves. There shouldn't be any
Yeah.
issues. I just wanted a fresh start because why not? Also check out like some of the new. Um, I got too excited. I thought there were new hairstyles, but it's just new hair colors.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Oh yeah. Some other news that so. I didn't know this, but apparently the new crowd AI it was too powerful for last gen consoles, which is why it wasn't on
Mm.
there. Um, but I don't know why they didn't add it to the PC version sooner then. But that's like I said, that's made a significant difference. The NPCs
Hmm.
look a bit better. The so yeah, the PS5 version and the Xbox Series X version looks great. They both look great, to be honest. It's also going to be on the Series S, but they did say that was locked in at 30 FPS, I believe. But they are looking at 60 FPS support on the Series S. Um,
But no
yeah,
ray
Series.
tracing, no ray tracing on
I
the
don't think so.
Series S.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no ray tracing. Yeah, no ray tracing. Yeah, and the Xbox Series S would be 1440p, um, which is what I'm currently playing the game on. But at 30 FPS, so they're trying to get that to 60 FPS, which I think will be important because there's a lot of people who own the Xbox Series S. It's a very popular console because of its price point. So if they can get that after 60 FPS, I think people will be quite happy with that. Um, Yeah. Oh, that's right. Combat. They changed. I'm sorry. They did make some changes to melee combat and stuff, and that does feel a lot smoother. Like,
Hmm.
I, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it just feels better to cut people on this game, Dennis. Like it looks better. It's smoother. Like I haven't used okay, no, I'd be lying. I had to use my pistol a few times, but I've mainly just been using a katana this
Hmm.
playthrough, just going strictly melee build, having a lot of fun with that. So they changed up the combat a bit. Some people are playing the game and they're enjoying it. They're enjoying the stability of it, but people are complaining because there's not like they've added a few things that are different. They've added some extra romance options, but significantly there hasn't been a big change to the game. We're not getting any DLC or anything like that. So some people have been complaining, saying that like essentially this is essentially the game that we should have had from launch.
Yes.
So it's like not really worthy to celebrate something that should have already been like that a year ago. Like
Yeah.
I'm happy for them.
People
Yeah,
are still waiting for the actual real DLC.
yeah. So I'm happy for them. Like it's a really good patch. Just I wish it could have happened sooner. It's well received so far. But yeah, people are still saying that they need. I don't agree with them, but I've been seeing a lot of people saying that they're not too happy with the game mechanics, but they just haven't been from the start. They were hoping that they would have changed them by now, but I like the game mechanics. I think they work. Some of them are like clunky, mind you, and like some of the guns don't work that well, but find other ways to go about your situation. Hack your way around it.
No. All right, let's move on to the next thing. The Uncharted movie it's coming out, I think, tonight or today, here in the U.S.
Yep.
The reviews,
Amaro over here.
yeah, the reviews have been kind of lukewarm to mediocre for it. The people who did enjoyed it like from a standpoint like, okay, it's all right. It's, it's a little bit of fun. And the people who didn't like it didn't hate it. They were just like, it's very plain, very vanilla, very average, So yeah, I guess another. I don't know. It's not an L in the department of video game adaptations, but it just doesn't sound like it's the win that people had wanted. And remember, this movie based on Uncharted has been in development for so long. It's switched so many. I mean,
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg wasn't playing Sully before. He was supposed to be playing Nathan Drake at one point.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
It's also like one of those It's also one of those movies where it just makes sense. Like the game just makes sense as a movie. I mean, even when you're playing the game feels like you're playing a movie. You know what I mean? That's the whole like thing that Uncharted was good for. So, in essence, you'd think it would work. I don't know. I'm still gonna watch it because it's one of those things where like when it comes to video game adaptations or even live action not anime adaptations, but mainly video game adaptations, I will watch them even if people hate them because sometimes I'll like them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like a good example is the Warcraft movie.
I
love
enjoyed
the
that.
Warcraft movie.
I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it much more than other people.
As someone who knew a lot of lore from like Warcraft 1, 2, and 3 before they went into the MMO, like it satiated so much lore for me. Like as a child, I played this game, and one of the first missions is you as Arthas, and Uther is there, and he's telling you about this time that he walked into an orc camp, and he was the only person who's ever been able to walk into an orc campment and out, and that literally happened in the Warcraft movie. Like the story he told me as a child through the video game, I got to watch live. For me, it was like I was creaming my pants. Meanwhile, like my friends who I went to watch the movie with, who have no clue about Warcraft, they were so like meh. But I was like, oh my god, this is happening. So I don't know. So hopefully it has those moments where there's enough like Easter eggs or like things to cling people on.
Yeah,
I will say though, like I'm going in with a clear mind because a lot of people who watch game adaptations and anime adaptations, they don't realize that it's like they're cramming a game into like a lot of story into one movie, or like they got to find ways to work around it. They got to make changes. They're gonna have to take artistic freedoms and remove some things and change some things to make it work together. That's just the way it's gonna be.
I think the biggest issue is that people are saying is that the casting. They don't find the casting of, not that they don't like Tom Holland and not that they don't like Mark Wahlberg. They just don't feel like they fit the character as well.
Yeah.
And also that it, with that type of casting, it's something Hollywood always does, but in this case, it's even more evident. It seems like they casted Tom Holland because they wanted to make this into a trilogy. movie franchise, not just and they're instead of focusing on, hey, let's make a good movie first and then see what happens after. It's like, no, let's cast someone very young and very marketable and very likable, and then that way we can keep going with them instead of Nathan Drake. And I haven't played the later games where you get to play as a young Nathan Drake. I've only played some of the first two, and you're older, not old Nathan Drake, but you know what I mean. How old is Nathan Drake in the original games? He's probably like closer to 40, right? Like,
yeah,
like 38,
I will
37.
Say just based off of trailers, even like going like way back to the first trailer, I was like, oh, Tom Holland, yeah, I can see him as Nathan Drake. But then I saw the scenes happen, and I was like, it just doesn't seem like a character that he could act strongly. That's the best way I could put it. Like, I think Tom Holland's a great actor. I just don't think that this character suits him. You know what I mean? Like I'd say facially, yes, but in terms of the way he acts, it's not very Nathan Drake. And like, I feel like his accent slipped a few times.
Mhm.
which, you know, you're only human, but with a movie this big of a budget, and when it's an actor that you know can nail an American accent, when you hear his accent slip every now and then, but that could also have been like scheduling issues. Like I know that they were on and off set the whole time. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
filming and then stopping and then filming. So that I think that those could have added to it as well. Um, but yeah, I was expecting this. I was expecting like greatness of this movie before I saw the trailers. When I saw the trailers, I was like, I think I'll be mildly amused, and I still think that I will be mildly amused.
Yeah, I from what people are saying, it's like it's not a, it's a semi entertaining time. It's just it doesn't feel like Uncharted, and it's very tame, and I feel like you had Nathan Fillion in the fan made
Oh, that was
bit
so
version.
good. The YouTube
You,
video, yeah, the
you,
fan made. That was a really good.
you
I
know,
like that.
Uncharted is a takeoff of Indiana Jones, and Harrison Ford is Indiana. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe to it. And Tom Holland, just like you mentioned, like he just doesn't have that vibe
Mm.
to him. You know?
Yeah, he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's a
Yeah.
friendly neighborhood teenager. You know what I mean? Like, I just, I don't know. Like I said, he has the looks for it, but like I could see him playing that character. But then it's like you hear him talk, and he's like, nah,
Yeah.
like you don't sound like you've been hardened through hardships through your whole life. You know?
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. This one's interesting. Halo, the TV
Yeah, this
series.
is interesting.
It's got renewed for a second season already, which is it hasn't come out yet. It
Now,
comes out at the end of March. What's up?
do you think it's because they're expecting it to do really, really well, or do you think it's because just want to reuse a lot of really big set pieces they may have spent a lot of money on?
I think they want to reuse set pieces also because now it's on
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, which is where I
Mm.
don't know if you heard, but you know how like Viacom, CBS had like merged with Paramount, and now they're gonna rename the whole company Paramount. So
Oh, that's big.
yeah,
I did not
so
hear about that. That's really big.
yeah, so back in the day, Viacom was just Viacom, and then they were Viacom, CBS, and then now they're just gonna be Paramount. So there was like CBS, there was Viacom, there was CBS Viacom, or Viacom CBS. Now it's gonna be Paramount. So Paramount Plus is kind of what they're kind of putting all their basket eggs in basket for. Like,
Yeah.
remember this was supposed to be on Showtime, and they decided that you know what?
This was gonna be on Showtime.
Yes, this was originally a Showtime
Not that there's
product.
anything wrong with that. You know, it's just like I don't. I
Showtime doesn't
Showtime
really
like
Showtime really doesn't do a lot of
yeah,
science fiction or fantasy.
or high budget. You know, like and I mean like
They do a
to
lot
do a
of
sci-fi like this,
mid-level
you need super high
mid-budget
budget.
dramas. That's what they usually
Yeah,
do.
there's some great shows on Showtime. Like, don't get me wrong, they do drama good. You know what I mean? That's why
Yeah,
it's like I just don't tie
yeah,
like big budget sci-fi to it. Like that blew me away.
yeah. Even
Yeah,
HBO and Amazon they're doing like obviously with Game of Thrones and now with Lord of the Rings on Amazon. You know what I mean? Like these other networks are known for it. But then, so Paramount Plus has all the Star Trek stuff. Remember? So it has all
oh
the
nice.
exclusive Star Trek, like Star Trek Discovery, Lower Decks, Picard. So now they're like, okay, we got this Halo thing to. They probably see it as there's a lot of Halo fans that are going to watch this thing no matter what, good or bad.
Yeah,
And
that's
there's
exact. I was about to bring that up. I was like, this show. I'm glad they renewed it for a second season because I think it's gonna be one of those things where a lot of people are gonna watch the first season, and even if they don't hit their numbers, I'm glad they're making a second season because there's gonna be a lot of people who want that second season. Like a lot of people, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Even if it's not enough for it to be financially viable, but yeah, like I think they got a good show on their hands. You know, it's not gonna be a hit show. I think it's gonna be a fun show. You know what I mean? Like even though Cortana
yeah,
like
not
not to get back into that thing my like I will say this though I think because I wasn't too clear about it last time my issue with Cortana is that you have alien life forms like full CGI alien life forms and they're CGI but then your artificial intelligence is a real fucking person
yeah,
like it breaks the immersion a bit it's like I can't you like not to say that the aliens don't look good the aliens do look really good but it's just so dumb where it's like I think those aliens would have been a lot more believable if the AI in my freaking helmet looked like an AI, not a real person. It's,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Um, uh,
Anyways, moving
yeah,
past that though.
yeah.
Good
So
for them for
yeah,
this. Good for the actors, really. I'm happy that they got a second season for
I'm
the
glad they got
actors
a
and
second
crew.
season. I'll see
Yeah.
how much more happy I'll be about it after I start watching this show. You know what I
I'm
mean?
optimistic. Like I think we had differing opinions, or like
Yes.
not differing, but yeah,
Yeah, we
like
did.
I'm looking forward to it. Like from what I saw, all like the videos I've seen so far, like a lot of the shots look really good. Some of them questionable, but
Hmm.
like a lot of them look really good. And the CGI looks like it looks decent. They didn't really like skimp out on the CGI, or at least like the landscape CGI shots. You know what I mean? Like those I forget the term in filmmaking, but like it's the shot you do before you go in. Like
The
in the office
establishing
they
shot.
show the.
The
That's it.
establishing
The
shot. Yeah.
establishing shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the establishing shots look good, and that
Hmm.
for me like is good because it really sets the pace and mood right before a scene.
Yeah. I didn't put this on the outline, but this is kind of a side note to Halo. Is I don't know if you saw the news of EA partially blames Halo Infinite for Battlefield 2042 failure.
Oh, EA is gonna try to blame anybody they can to get out of that. There's a petition going around with more than 200,000 signatures of people trying to get a refund. Um, and it's climbing up there, man. That petition's getting higher. Imagine that petition reaches like 1 million people. Like 1 million people are like, we want our money back. This sucks. Because
Yeah.
EA's just like pretending it never happened. They're moving on. The game's not gonna
Yes.
get fixed.
So apparently, in one of those kind of, I think, investor town halls, they had said that they were surprised by Halo Infinite's multiplayer drop. Remember, it dropped like a month. Was it a month early? Yeah, I think it was like a month
It
early.
was within the same month,
Two or
if I
3 weeks
recall.
early, at least.
Yeah.
And so that it was during Battlefield 2042's launch window. So, and the people are just upset about this, saying like, "Dude, you guys made a crappy game. Just own up
hmm
to it. Has nothing to do with Halo." Um,
I would say Halo played a role only because it was free to play. You know what I mean?
yeah, it was free to play. Remember, I had mentioned this even before Halo Infinite had come out a long time before. I was like, they're making a $60 multiplayer only game. Um, in this day and age, it's tough. You can
It
play
is.
free to play, obviously in the name, and obviously there's microtransactions and whatnot. But like so far, Halo Infinite, I've spent $10. I bought the battle pass or the season pass or whatever. Um, I haven't spent anything on cosmetics, and I've had a really good time playing it. I'm gonna play it some more as soon as I'm finished with some of these other games. But it's the value proposition, right? In this
Yeah.
current climate, it's like, how are you expecting people to pay $60 for this game? One that's super buggy, has a lot of issues, released too early, and then yeah. So I wouldn't
It,
blame Halo Infinite, but I would say that the value proposition that Halo Infinite showed, that like, hey, why spend $60 when you can play this game for free? That's awesome. So
yeah. I will say though, like, it should have been a slam dunk for EA. Like here's the thing. I knew many people that they were more than happy to pay that $60. They were like,
hmm
"Yes, give me a new Battlefield game. Here is my money. Take it. I don't care if it's multiplayer only." Like there were so many people who they were because the thing is there isn't a game like Battlefield out there currently. Like Halo is similar in the sense of you have your big open like you have your bigger maps with a bigger amount of people,
hmm
but it's nowhere near as like and it also has its vehicles, I would say, but it's a completely different feel from Battlefield. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like even me, I think most people are just disappointed because they really wanted this game and they really wanted what they were promised. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And even I was one of those people where I'm not a big Battlefield player, but I have a lot of friends who are Battlefield players, and the fan base is huge. And the fans wanted this so bad. It wasn't even like, oh, like let's play Halo. Like most people went to Halo because it was bad because sorry, Battlefield was bad. You know what I mean? They're like,
hmm
well, Battlefield sucks. I just spent $60 on this game. I can't play it. This sucks. Let me
I
go play Halo because it's
yeah.
free.
Uh, yeah.
But like this is one of those IPs where they could if it was a new IP, it would have been the biggest risk in the world. But because it was Battlefield and because it was like from what they were promising, it was essentially going to be Battlefield 4 with like bigger, better maps and a tornado. You know what I mean? It was like everyone's like, what not to love, you know? It's funny now because I think Battlefield 4 is like popping off. A lot of people are playing Battlefield 4 now.
Yeah, I saw this thing where
Battlefield 5.
they were saying that
I
no,
forget which one it
I think
was.
it's 4 because people were like
I think it's 4. 4 was popping off recently.
because they were
yeah.
saying that
But
like
yeah, people wanted it, man. I feel bad for them.
people were saying like there was only like 1,000 more concurrent players on Steam for Battlefield 2042 than there was for Battlefield 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. All right, let's move on. Netflix announced that they're going to be producing a live action BioShock movie, which, you know, this movie has been also in, you know, development in a long time. Remember Gore Verbinski at one point was supposed to direct the movie version. Now it looks like it's going to a straight to Netflix. They don't have anyone attached in terms of director or casting or anything like that. So this is probably very, very early in development.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't think this is going to be good right off the bat, because just from my assumptions, because they're going to do the first BioShock game, which is a great game. You know what I mean? It's dark, it's gritty, but because it's dark and gritty, I think it would have worked better as a series, like a 10-part, like one of those 10-part series, like True Detective or something. You know, where it's like 8 or 10 episodes, but they're an hour long each. You know, I think it would have worked better than that. If they wanted to do a movie, I think that they could do a really good movie, but it would have to be the third BioShock game, which is like a lot more vibrant, still dark undertones, but it's like you're not underwater, you're not like in the deep darkness, like you're still in the city that's floating in the sky. I know that it's not the route that they want to take. Also, if people are going to get a BioShock movie, they don't want that story. Like if I'm completely honest, this is just me. I just think it would have worked better as like a fun movie. Also, because it's technically a prequel, you know, it would set them up for the first 2 games, which were iconic and has the better story. It's just one of those things where maybe they hit the nail on the head here, but I think they're just going to try to cram way too much into one movie, you know, or it's going to be boring, which is what I'm worried about. Like they don't capture the tenseness of the situation, you know what I mean? Except for the combat. I don't know. I'm not. This is one of those things where, once again, the story and the game makes sense in a movie. It's like the idea of Uncharted. It's like it should work. You know what I mean? If they do everything right, they should have a really good movie on their hands, even if people haven't played BioShock, because the story is good enough where like anybody can enjoy the story. You know what I mean? Like anybody should theoretically be able to watch a BioShock movie and enjoy it. Granted, if they're like darker themed stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. You know.
It's finally going to happen. If anybody's going to make it happen, it's Netflix, you know? It's not going to float around like 20 other directors' desks for like 20 years. You know?
No, I mean, when it comes to streaming stuff,
it's not going to be
Akira. It's much more solid because it's what you're playing for is a lot different. It's like the Halo TV series for Paramount Plus. What you're playing for is to get people who are fans or interested in watching this series or movie to subscribe, or if you are already a subscriber, that this adds value that keeps you subscribed. So you're not selling movies. You're not trying to get someone to get in their car and drive to the movie theater on opening weekend to watch a movie.
Just trying to keep somebody there.
Yes. So the bar for success is not as
it's lower. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot lower. So,
which in terms means less pressure, which I think is better for the people making it. But yeah, the reason I brought up Akira is because the live action for Akira, the script, if you like, I think you can trace it through IMDb, but that script has been floating around since like 2002, 2004. Like it's been going through so many it's been 20 years where it went through so many production things. I think the last I heard about it, Leonardo DiCaprio bought the movie, or he bought like the script, or he wanted to make it or produce it. He wasn't going to be in it. You know what I mean? Like, man, that's something I've always wanted to see an Akira live action, and there's literally been a script floating around Hollywood for like 15 years now, like, and it keeps changing producers. There was once 2 people attached to the project that were going to play Kaneda and Tetsuo, but
yes,
that's as far as
yeah. Was it like Zac Efron? Did you say Zac Efron? Like it was
No, no,
okay.
they were Asian.
Oh, okay.
This was like this is when like because the casting before that was super whitewashed, and then it
yes.
changed production companies again, and it was like a strictly Asian cast, and it looked they only announced well they didn't announce, but they were if on IMDb there were two people attached to it, and they were Kaneda and Tetsuo, and they were Asian.
Yeah.
Don't know their exact nationality, but they weren't white guys, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Thank God.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah, I
a
remember there
white
was a
guy
time
named
that was gonna be
Tetsuo.
like it was gonna be like Neo New York or something like that, or Neo Los
Yeah, that's a
Angeles and all
horrible
that.
fucking
Yeah.
idea. Oh my God.
So
No ways,
I think
man.
the way things have started to change now. You have, one. We just saw Shang-Chi. Obviously, it's a Marvel film, so that
Mhm.
helped become a big huge hit with an all predominantly Asian cast. And then you had Parasite, which was a subtitled Asian cast that won the Academy Award. I mean, it wasn't like make gangbusters like Shang-Chi or anything like that, but you're seeing that, so people are they're more
other
receptive and open
cultures
to it.
and yeah.
And
And they're
Netflix,
more open to subtitles nowadays as well,
yes,
which is really
Netflix
good.
has a lot to do with that because you can
Mhm.
go. A lot of people watch different movies from different countries
Dude,
or
my
TV
mom
series.
only watches my mom only watches Turkish series now.
Yeah.
Like and like literally like it's a good example. Like I would never have guessed that
Hmm.
my mother has been like binging Korean and Turkish and Indian
Hmm.
dramas, but she's like oh I love it. She's like she just watches it with subtitles, you know what I mean? And she
Hmm.
gets like especially like the soap operas, she gets so into them.
Yeah.
And it's like just it like I clicked a while ago like the what was about a year ago I realized like wow this must be happening across like every family in like across the whole world, you know. People are binging Netflix. Eventually they're going to start binging foreign content, and
Hmm.
they're going to be more open to that idea, and I think we're already there. I mean especially with Squid Game, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Speaking of more kind of, you know, two series, streaming series, they announced, okay, there's going to be a Sonic the Hedgehog movie 3, which isn't a big surprise. The first one was a hit. The second one's coming out soon. And if things go well, it does decently well. And then, but the bigger announcement is that there's going to be a Knuckles spin-off series with Idris Elba returning in the lead role. Man, Idris Elba's everywhere. He's in that I
Yeah,
forgot that one commercial. Now he's going to be
he's in a lot of commercials. He's always done really good.
yeah. So yeah, there's going to be a Knuckles not live action. Oh, actually, is it going to be live action?
It'll be him. Well,
Well,
I mean, technically,
yeah, because
it
Sonic the
is.
Hedgehog was live action, which I thought was a stupid idea,
Yeah,
but ended up being proven
I
wrong.
think this might be full CGI though,
Hmm.
because I have a theory, and that'll be it's Knuckles traveling through like all the ring worlds,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get to Sonic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be like I don't know. I don't know. I don't see why they would use practical sets when they could do the full thing in CGI budget wise. You know what I mean? One
Mm-hmm.
thing's for certain: Jim Carrey's not going to be in it. You know,
No.
which which is also why I'm speculating once again it's going to be easier on their budget and time if they do full CGI. You know.
Yeah.
Also, it's gonna be easier for well Idris Elba's. He's Knuckles. He's not going to be
Yeah.
needing to be
He's just
anywhere.
only
You
going
know,
to be
yeah.
doing voiceover anyway. So.
Mm. But yeah, so I think it's going to be like that. I think it'll be good though. Like honestly, ever since the first movie came out, the more they expand this universe, the more I'm there for it. I like it, you know. And I'm getting a very wholesome vibe from Tails, which is great because I was worried about. I like after watching the first movie, I knew they were gonna nail Knuckles, but I was worried about Tails. I was like, they were gonna make. I thought they were gonna make Tails like super cringy or cheesy, and it's just Tails, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to this. I haven't played this yet, but man, it's
Ooh,
huge.
I've been pressured heavily into playing this.
Have you
Everybody's
started
talking
yet?
about it.
Lost
No,
Ark.
I need to get a VPN and then change my like region, and it's like a tricky
Okay.
way for people in South Africa to get the game. But apparently, once you buy the game, I just have to change my region and do a VPN to buy the game. Once I've bought the game, then I can play the game. Um, it's just not what I was expecting from because there was so much hype around this game. Oh, we should just say the name by the way, Lost Ark,
Yeah. Yeah.
which isn't a new game. It's not a new game. I thought it was a new game, but it's a game that's been around for years apparently,
Mm-hmm.
just not in like in the West.
Yeah.
Essentially, I believe it was more like
It's from
a Korean
Smilegate.
influence
It's
game.
from
Yeah.
Smilegate.
So it is a game that's been like they've been working on it for a long time. It's not like they just pulled it out of their ass. It's also like top-down Diablo. It's an action RPG, so it's like a
Yeah.
Diablo type of game, very like heavy Diablo inspired, but as an MMO, which just based off of the idea of like a Diablo MMO, that's got me hooked, and I really want to try it out. Also, I think it's free. Like it's I could be wrong on that. Is it?
I think
I'm
so.
wrong
I
on
think it is.
that. I think
I
it is
mean,
free. Yeah.
I believe so. They said it's like the second most played game with by concurrent players of all time.
And people are loving it. Like everybody I know has been playing it. They've been really enjoying it.
So yeah, it is free. It came out last week.
Got a full campaign, co-op, PvE combat, and this is what I didn't know. It's got 15 playable characters, which is more than any ARPG I've ever played. Like I think at most I've played an ARPG with 6 or 7. Because by playable characters, I'm assuming they mean classes, or maybe the class system works differently. I don't know much about the game itself, but it is blowing up.
Yeah, it came out in South Korea in 2019, and then later in Japan and Russia. But now, yeah, like you said, it's North America and Europe is now able 15 playable characters, full campaign, co-op, PvE, combat. So, yeah, that's definitely.
I mean, I actually just got Diablo on PC because I had it on PlayStation for the longest time. I wanted to get Diablo 3, not like I do have Diablo 2 Resurrected, which was the remake, and I do enjoy that. But I was just kind of craving Diablo 3. I wanted to play it with my girlfriend, so she bought me the game for my birthday, and I was playing it today, and I got really into that. And then I was literally thinking about Lost Ark, and I was like, God, this but an MMO, that just seems fun, you know. And supposedly the end game is really good as well, like which is that's an issue with most MMOs, which is that the end game sucks or the rating sucks. But this game, it's got it all. Like it's just I haven't heard a single complaint about this game except for the availability. Like I said, people needing to
The
change their
servers?
regions to get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought you meant the
it's been
servers.
server issues.
Yeah.
The server issues as well, but like because of here in South Africa, at least, everyone has to change their region, get a VPN just to purchase the game to be able to play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, once they're playing it, they're like, yeah. The worst review I've heard was that someone saying that it's average. You know,
Yeah.
like that's the worst I've heard somebody say. They're like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Sometimes some things aren't for some people. So.
Yeah, but then again, it's like, man, no one's saying the game sucks. You know,
Yeah.
if the worst people are saying it's okay, then that's great.
All right, moving on. PS5 was the January's best-selling console in the U.S., which
How did they get their hands on it though?
I'm not sure, but it still made the most units sold and dollars made. Which I know they did in December. I think they still did beat Xbox Series X and S, but it was by just a little bit.
I think
in December, but I think it's kind of jumped back up in terms of the gap.
One of the things I'm going to mention plays a very small role, but it does play a role, which is I think that another reason why PlayStation 5 keeps outselling Xbox is because it's because of its demand. You know what I mean? Like a year ago, like it was a lot of news stations were covering like, oh, everybody wants a PS5, but they can't get one. Everybody's trying to get a PS5 for Christmas. So it's just in this like everybody's kind of got this idea of them where it's like, oh, it's exclusive getting a PS5, you know what I mean? Or it's difficult to get, which is like driving up engagement of trying to get one as well, you know?
I mean, they said Xbox Series X/S still did well. Increase of 22% from last year, which makes sense. Remember last year they had no games. Now they do. They
got
finally
a lot
have
of games now.
Yeah, but at least now there's like exclusive. Okay, what can you play on the Xbox Series X or S that you can't play on the PlayStation? You got Halo Infinite, you got Forza Horizon 5, so you have like at least 2 big AAA titles right there, and then there's smaller titles that have been doing well.
I see the best sold game of January was the new Pokemon game.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love it. I'm having a great time with it.
Yeah. All right. Next up. Oh, did you see this? The Wolf Among Us 2 trailer.
I haven't watched the trailer. Actually, haven't watched the trailer yet. I'm
Uh,
so excited,
yeah.
but man, the hype for just the announcement alone, like the hype. Like I didn't know how many people I had on my Facebook timeline that gamed, because like a
Mhm.
lot of people play The Wolf Among Us that aren't even gamers. You know what I mean?
Makes
Like a
sense.
lot of people play Telltale games because they were like an easier barrier to cross than like first-person shooters, for instance. You know? And yeah, there's just literally like I was shook by the amount of people I knew that that even knew about this game. You know what I mean? It's a great game. I love the story. When this game first came out, I binged this game so hard. I really enjoyed it. I haven't watched the trailer yet. Um, I kind of don't want to because I don't know if it has any spoilers or
It
well,
set up
not
at
spoilers,
least
but
one.
like
I don't know if this is the main story, but
yeah,
it set up who the main. I don't want to spoil it for you. Who the
because I don't want to know
main
anything.
villains are, I guess, or
Look,
basically the
because
main
of
characters that
yeah,
besides.
because of the art style,
Yeah.
I don't need to see the trailer. You know what I mean? Because of
Hmm.
the art style, I know what the game's gonna look like. I know how the game's gonna play, unless they've made like significant changes where it's like, oh, check it
No,
out, it's an open world game. You could drive
no.
cars now. You know,
Looks
it's not that. So yeah, I know exactly what I'm getting out of this game. So I'm not gonna watch the trailer because I do the same thing with anime where I'm
uh,
like, I don't watch the trailer or the opening. Whenever you start a new anime, you always skip the opening because it shows you like animations from like episode 5 and
mhm.
you're not even there yet, you know? It's just I don't want to see any like anything
Okay.
like that. But I
All
am
I can
looking forward to it.
without spoiling it looks good. It looks
Yeah.
true to what the first one was, and it looks good. And
Mm.
I'm so happy that we're gonna get. Because remember
I
they
didn't
were
think it was gonna happen
well.
for the
Remember
longest time.
they were working on it, and then Telltale went under. And then
Mm.
luckily they got how many months later they got bought, and now Telltale is kind of back. But they're doing they're taking things slow and making because Telltale's problem was they were like expanding too quickly, and they're trying to get like every property they could and spending a lot of money on getting those licenses, and then not spending enough on marketing and the release. They would get like a big license, like I think they got like Guardians of the Galaxy, and like it would come
Yeah.
out and people wouldn't know about it because there was just too much going on. They had Borderlands.
There were too many releases in a year. At a
Yeah,
certain
yeah,
point, they were releasing like 2 or 3 games in a year, and it's like because of the style of the game choice style, because it's
yeah.
such a small genre, they dominated that genre, but it's like they oversaturated their own genre. I think that they could have done well if they streamlined it, like not like I'd say like make like one big game a year,
You
and
know,
then make one game where it's very bare bones and you can sell it to
and,
Netflix.
and don't do the whole what was it like $8 $10 per episode, and there was ultimately
Yeah,
six
no.
episodes, and sell the whole
I would
game.
sell it to Netflix, man.
Sell the whole game.
Like the Minecraft story
Oh yeah,
mode.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
for sure.
because if it's just like if it's just like A or B, if
Yeah,
your entire choices throughout the entire game is just A or B,
A B C
then you
D.
can sell it.
Yeah,
Yeah, then you can just sell it to Netflix.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is what that's the route I think they should have gone. Made one big AAA like title for the year, like their I'm blanking on the name right now. Zombie popular
Walking
zombie
Dead. Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. The
Yeah.
first Walking Dead game that Telltale did was brilliant.
Hmm.
If like they focused more on those kinds of games, and yeah, I don't know. Either way, I'm just glad this is happening because I really, like I said, everyone's so happy that this is happening.
Hmm.
Like they're just like the amount of joy like that I've seen from people that like I said I didn't even know were gamers. They're just so excited for this because the story's so good,
No.
you know. So I'm looking forward to it as well.
All right, let's move on. Did you watch this trailer, the Atomic Heart release window trailer?
I
So Atomic,
did. I did. I did
so
watch
this is a
this.
game
Yeah.
I've been following for a while, even before it became exclusive to Game Pass, just
Yeah,
because it has kind
we
of like
covered it once or twice, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, because it has kind of like this almost Fallout vibe. It's like a Russian Fallout with some
Yeah, I think the last time we spoke about this was just before Outer Worlds got released, I think,
yeah.
because we made
So
like a comparison.
yeah, so they didn't actually say the date, but they just said they had hashtag or number sign, whatever you want to say, and said Burr 2022. So basically, that it's going to be either September, October, November, December of this year is when they plan on releasing this game, which is cool. I'm looking forward to it. It's not like one of my most anticipated games of the year or anything like that, but that's the benefit of Game Pass. It doesn't have to be. It has it's as long as I'm interested in playing it, and then when it comes out, I'll be like, hey, I'll download it and try it out and see how it goes. You know, this is this to me is like a perfect game for Game Pass. I mean, it's gonna be available for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC as well. But I'm just saying, on the Xbox side, if you do have Game Pass, I think this is kind of like a perfect game for that.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it as well. I had no idea what to expect the last time we covered this because there was so little about it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting this. Like, it's a lot more polished than what I thought. Well, by polished I mean like the way certain areas look, like with the sci-fi. I thought it was gonna have more like of a grungy feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That was my impressions, or like more of like a cyberpunk vibe. Not cyberpunk, but like, you know, like Neo, like Night City, like very like that. That's the vibe I thought it was gonna be, like a dark, gritty sci-fi. So it's not what I was expecting at all, but it does look really fun and it looks interesting. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on, which leads me to ask the question, what the hell is going on? And the only way to find out is by playing the game. So good for them.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it though.
All right. The last thing on my list is the Crossfire X. Getting some bad reviews, both for single player and multiplayer. So this is a game also from Smilegate that is actually an older game that now is debuting on Xbox as like a console exclusive. And they did have Remedy games, which you know from Control and Alan Wake and Max Payne fame, work on it. I don't know how much they worked on it, so I can't say how much they helped or didn't help the game, but apparently from the reviews, it's people are just saying it's terrible. Like,
man, I knew so little about this game. I thought it was a racing game.
Well, it sounds like a Crossfire X.
It sounds like one, right? Yeah, Crossfire. I thought, yeah, it's got to be a racing game, right? Like, that's what I thought. So I had no idea. And then I didn't even see the reviews until you sent this to me, and I looked up a couple others, and it's like, yeah, people are shitting on this game.
Yeah, they're saying the basic controls are terrible. They said that, just aiming is
like, if you can't get a gun to work properly, like, what's the point of the game?
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm looking at this video and it's like, it's so bad.
It looks like a Counter-Strike ripoff, but made in like the early 2000s.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the graphics look good, but besides that, the game looks crap. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
Well, if you watch the motion and animations, it's not good. Like, look at the character models and the way they move and shoot.
The animations are horrible, but the actual shooting is horrible. Like, the main gun mechanic itself is trash. Like, I'm watching it, I would lose my mind shooting this gun. Like, yeah, ew. I say we quickly move past that. I'll pretend I never saw that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's low key embarrassing because the game looks polished. Like, it does look good. Like, I'd be lying if it doesn't. Like, the graphics look pretty decent. It doesn't look like a next gen game. It actually kind of looks like it just looks like a pretty solid piece. Oh my God, that was a horrible glitch.
Yeah, there's a lot of glitches in the game.
There's a bird that just became the size of the entire map and enveloped the entire map.
Yes, there's quite a big.
Okay, well, anyways. Yeah, like, even the UI, like, I'm looking at the menu doesn't look that bad. Like, they clearly put a lot of time into this game, but it looks like the basics are they fucked up the basics, you know? Oh, it's got a battle pass. I can tell you right now, they're not going to be making any money.
All right, that's it from my end. Do you have any topics you want to bring up before we get out of here?
Just that there is another big No Man's Sky update, which brought up the question a lot of people have been wondering, which is like, oh wow, No Man's Sky keep releasing like great updates. That's good. Are they ever going to stop? And according to Sean Murray, not by a long shot. They've only, like, I think this is a game that's going to be getting updated until the day we die, Dennis, and it's just going to keep getting better, which is great. It's also, once again, this game is on Game Pass.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is on Game Pass. It is a open universe survival game. It's the only way I can explain it. But I do not recommend the game to people unless you do enjoy survival games. Like, Minecraft. Like if you're not okay with mining like certain elements and ore for like a good like 20-30 minutes at a time, then don't get the game. But yeah, there's a new update coming out. Looks good. They interviewed Sean Murray, said there's still a lot of big plans in the future. God, I would kill for an RTX 3080 just so I can play the game in VR. Because I tried to play the game in VR on the on the 2060, and I had to play it on this like lowest resolution, and only then was it smooth. It suffered, man. Which is weird. I played other like top end VR games, and they haven't. Maybe it's just not optimized well for PC. But yeah. Other than that, I don't really have any news. No.
Cool. I already mentioned what I was playing. I was playing a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, the Iki Island. What was the actual official title for that? I'm actually downloading Horizon Forbidden West as we speak, but you know, since everyone's suggestion is to play the first game first, even if it's downloaded, I don't think I'll be playing it right away. I'll finish up Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I still think you can get away with watching like not a good recap video, but like actually a good recap video, but like a good one, like a 30-minute one. You know what I mean? Like where someone really explains all of what's going on, and then maybe watch the final cutscene.
Yeah, I think I mean my personality is I gotta play it.
No, you gotta play the first one. Yeah. I just realized the only reason I'm thinking this way is because I want to play the second one, and that's what I would do. But it's like I don't think I would actually want to do that if I haven't played the first one either.
Yeah. So
yeah, definitely play the first one.
So what have you been playing? So that was what I've been playing Zenith. I mentioned last week. I've been playing Contractors VR. Been playing that with Mark as well. So
nice. What's that?
It's kind of like Call of Duty, but in VR. You know, a lot of these games nowadays in VR are like the VR spin of like Zenith is basically a Phantasy Star Online, but in VR. You have After the Fall is basically Left 4 Dead, but in VR, and you have
Population 1's basically PUBG.
Yeah, PUBG / Fortnite. Yeah. So yeah, you got a lot of these cool games. What have you been playing?
Oh man, I don't know why, but the first thing I haven't been playing it much, but the first thing I thought of was how satisfying it is to slam dunk and pick up basketball.
Oh yeah.
It's actually really satisfying the slam because you don't even have to jump. I mean, you do jump, but in the game, like in real life, you don't have to jump.
Oh yeah.
But it feels like you're jumping and it's great. Anyways, I try to get back into Zenith, even with the motion sensitivity. I switched my role to a mage, and I'm having a much better time.
Cool.
Even with the motion sensitivity options, playing with the blades is just too
much.
Like it gives me like it's weird. It doesn't make me nauseous. It just gives me like headaches. Like playing the game kind of gives me like a strange headache.
Let me know when you play, because then we can hop on together. And because I need support. Like the best way to play is if like I'm blades and then you're a mage, you're ranged. You know,
I can just heal and support. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can also get attack from afar while I kind of close in on people.
I'm currently doing like mage DPS.
I'm doing blade DPS.
Yeah, I'm thinking of I might switch to mage support.
Well, you can keep upgrading
late
all
game,
of the
you
ones.
You kind of have to join the people, you know.
Yeah.
Late game, you have to like.
What level are you at right now?
With other people. I think I'm only level like 4 or 5 since I restarted.
That's not too bad.
I had to take some serious breaks in between, like I said. But I think I'm getting used to it. I think it's just like you mentioned, I have to get used to being in VR.
Yes.
And because I only just recently got a Quest, and I've only spent like in total, like I've only like played VR for like maybe 4 or 5 days in total this year. You know what I mean? So I think I just need to be in the world more and get used to being in
even
the
like
world more.
Mark now, who like couldn't do locomotion, which is the moving part. He's starting to get used to it because he's playing so much Hitman VR.
Satisfying.
Yeah, but it's not optimized. The problem is it's when it comes to like motion sickness, it's not very good. But I played so much pickup basketball when we were making the game that like I got not immune to the motion sickness, but my tolerance went way up. So now I can, when I play any of these games like Zenith or Contractors or whatever after the fall, I can just use locomotion. You probably get to that point at some point. So, but yeah, let me know. Let me know when you're on. We can hop and play.
For sure. I've mainly been playing Valorant. I'm just trying to finish the Battle Pass because I didn't play the game for a while. I just didn't have the time. Still love that game because it's just so easy to hop in and out of. So I've just been grinding the Battle Pass on Valorant, and yeah, actually really got back into Cyberpunk with a new patch. Like, I'm playing the game again, even though I know where the story's gonna go. I think it's been long enough for me to like give it another playthrough. You know what I mean? Like a proper like I would like usually mess around, but this time I'm just doing the story. I'm having a good time with it. And then yeah, was there anything else that I was actually gonna start playing some Ark Survival Evolved because I forgot that there's a sequel coming out to Ark, which is weird because how does an open world sandbox? How does it? It's like if Minecraft had a sequel. Like it's weird. Sandbox like survival games shouldn't really have sequels. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. I installed the game. It took up 200 gigs of my hard drive space because I got all the DLC and everything. So yeah, kind of regretting that right now, taking up 200 gigs of my hard drive. And I'm playing the game, but not that much.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, my original plan for Cyberpunk 2077 was beat the game, and then I would take it off the computer because it takes up so much space. And then now this patch, like, just dropped, and I hadn't uninstalled it yet. And so I was like, all right, I'll install this 40 gig update. So now it's, like, eating up massive parts of my hard drive. So,
yeah. Well, the good news is that it does replace 20 gigs of the game. So it's not like it's adding 40 gigs. It replaces about 20-something gigs. From what I noticed.
Okay.
Like, so it's not like from what I could tell.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though, but the way the Steam downloads work. But yeah, that's been me, man. Oh yes, how could I forget? Like, I've been playing Pokemon pretty much every day because I got a Nintendo Switch. It's next to my bed, so before I go to sleep, I go catch some Pokemon, man. I'm all about grinding those shinies and getting alpha Pokemon. I just never thought actually. I'm turning 29 in like an hour from now. 2 hours from now.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're still young. I'm jealous.
I
wish
know.
I was.
I was gonna say however, did not expect myself to be a 29-year-old man playing Pokemon every single day. Did not see that coming, but I don't regret it. It's been wonderful.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching and listening. We will catch you guys next time. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. You can follow me on Twitter @ThinkHero or on Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch @It'sThespis, where I mainly stream Valorant. And you guys can find me on the Revog Discord channel if you ever want to talk about games.
Cool. And until next time, see you guys later.
Later.